Well, welcome everyone to our call. We are so excited to have you on here tonight, and we appreciate that you took time out of your evening, or maybe you're watching this recording, that you're taking some time to learn this wonderful information that we have to share with you. The person who invited you to this call is a part of an amazing group called the Healthy Living Revolution. Now, our goal is to come alongside of individuals and families and to help them take their health back in ways that are simple, doable, and fun. And since May is Mental Health Awareness Month, we are doing a bit of a special call geared more towards mental wellness and just kind of talking a little bit about where we're at right now and what we can do to just more positively influence our gut and our brain and our bodies, really, just to work well at a foundational level. So speaking of, mental health, let's just start out. Let's just start with the statistics. Let's look at where we are right now. So anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness. In fact, 18% of people are struggling with anxiety disorders. So that's almost 1 in 5 people. And if that's you, you are going to be really encouraged tonight by some of the stories that are going to be shared. But women are twice as likely to suffer or twice as likely as men to suffer from general anxiety, and 1 in 4 women has anxiety. Anxiety is also affecting 1 in 4 children aged 13 to 18. Our teenage girls seem to be suffering the worst. 2 of 3 teenage girls are on an antidepressant. 2 of 3 teenage girls are on an antidepressant. That is a staggering statistics. We've got this from Dr. Tamara Sachs. 1 in 4 teenage girls is depressed. And it's also affecting our economy. Depression is the leading cause of disability worldwide. So if this is where we're at right now, it's interesting, or maybe worth talking about, how did we get here? So what's going on in our world today that is just one of the contributors to kind of our worsening mental health right now? And the first is that there are 2 really startling trends that are happening in our world today. Our environmental toxins are increasing. So whether this is products you're putting on your skin, the air that you're breathing, the water that you're drinking, the food that you're eating, the pharmaceuticals you're taking, our world is so much more toxic today than it was for our ancestors. And at the same time that our world is becoming more toxic, our food quality is severely decreasing. And this is a really scary mixture because our food should really be our first line of defense against the toxicity in our environment, but it's actually one of the biggest contributors to the toxicity that's going on in our bodies. So let's talk a little bit more about food and how it's affecting our brain. So if you think about your brain, your brain is a well-oiled machine. Your brain never stops. It is regulating your body. It is always in charge, whether you're awake or sleeping, it is working. And so consider a well-oiled machine. Think about a really expensive car. A really expensive car requires high premium fuel. And actually, if you put low premium fuel into a really expensive car, it would actually damage the car. And that's what's happening right now, is we are putting very low premium fuel into our bodies with the standard American diet, and it actually has the potential to damage our brains. Substances from our highly processed and highly refined diets can get into our brains, and once it's in there, our brains have a hard time detoxifying that out. One of the other big contributors is sugar. So diets high in refined sugar are harmful to our brain. And because we have such a highly processed diet here in America, we have a diet high in refined sugar. It promotes inflammation and oxidative stress. We're going to talk about oxidative stress in just a minute. And diets high in refined sugars are linked to impaired brain function, as well as worsening mood disorders such as depression. So here we are consuming a lot of sugar, consuming a lot of not real foods, and we're struggling more and more with our brain health. So if this sugar is increasing oxidative stress, well, what the heck is oxidative stress? Well, we all have it in our body. It's the waste of our body using oxygen. So just think about a fire. When a fire is burning, there is waste that comes from it, right? That is the ashes that come from the fire. Well, our body has the same thing. So as long as we're breathing, we have oxidative stress in our body. And oxidative stress is the root of all disease, aging, and death. And what happens is our body is using this oxygen, and that is causing free radicals. Free radicals are the waste that is produced by our body using oxygen. And what these free radicals do is they go all around our body and even in our brain, and they ping our cells over and over and over again, millions of times a day, and they're causing damage to our cells. So you can imagine if you had a free radical in your brain, it's causing damage to your brain cells. That's really scary. But thankfully, Mother Nature had a brilliant solution in the form of antioxidants. Mother Nature knew that we were going to have stress, in our body, but they gave us an answer. And so what happens is that when we eat antioxidants, they donate an electron to the free radical and they neutralize the free radical. So a great way to think about this is to imagine an apple. When you cut open an apple and the flesh of that apple is exposed to the air, it begins to brown, to rust, and to age. But we know if we take lemon juice, an antioxidant, and we squeeze it on the flesh of that lemon, it delays that aging process. That is what antioxidants do for us internally in our bodies and in our brains. They are protecting us against the cellular damage. So that's kind of more on the brain health. And then there's also this amazing link that more and more we're learning about gut health. So it's actually really interesting that our gut and our brain are one of the last organs to split in utero. A lot of people call your gut your second brain, but who knows, maybe it might even have been our first brain. And just looking at this image, they look so similar. But we're learning more. This is kind of a burgeoning area of research that we're learning so much more about how what we're eating, it's directly affecting our gut, which is then always in communication with our brain. So therefore affecting our brain. So our good gut bacteria, we're learning, is actually, it is in charge of making serotonin. So over 95% of our serotonin is made in our gut. Serotonin is the happy neurotransmitter. Basically, it's the neurotransmitter that goes to our brain and tells our brain that we're happy. There are some pharmaceutical drugs for people that are struggling with anxiety or depression, and what they do is they keep the serotonin in your brain longer. Well, what if we just helped our body continually create more serotonin? Wouldn't that be a great answer, right? So what we're learning is that the more that we feed our good gut bacteria, the more our good gut bacteria will make serotonin. Well, guess what your good gut bacteria eats? It eats prebiotic foods. Prebiotic foods are fruits, vegetables, and plant matter and fermented foods. So as many fruits and vegetables, it's what we talked about in the brain health, it's what we'll talk about with gut health. As many fruits and vegetables as you can get into your body will directly impact your gut health, which therefore is going to influence your brain. So this is why everyone you're going to hear from on this call is so excited that at some point in their journey, they were introduced to this amazing product called Juice Plus. So I love to give the background of how Juice Plus came to be because I think it's amazing. But this was developed over 30 years ago by a doctor. His name was Dr. Smokey Santillo, and he helped cancer patients juice. And his dad was diagnosed with lymphoma, and he was given 3 weeks to live. And Dr. Smokey decided that he had to find a way to make that juice even more powerful for his dad. So instead of just juicing the fruits and vegetables, he was going to take the whole thing with the pits, the peels, the rinds, the seeds, much of the area that is really dense in nutrition that usually we don't consume. And he blended it in a Vitamix, and he took what was left over, which was like a slurry, and he dehydrated that slurry at a cold temperature to preserve the nutrients. And that resulted in a powder. And so that's what our capsules are full of. They're full of this powdered produce. It is really food in a capsule. And he ended up just pumping his dad full of this powder. His dad ended up living for 6 more years. And not only did he live, but he had quality of life, which is pretty rare in cancer patients today. And it was at that point that Dr. Smokey knew that he was onto something. So it took him a couple of years to find this company that would share this product in this way, because this is a unique product. It can't sit on a store shelf. It would go bad. It's not a vitamin or a supplement. It really is food in a capsule. But I want you to take a second just to look at the variety that's on this page, all the different colors, some of these things I've never even eaten before outside of taking my Juice Plus. And just think about what we're learning about our brain and how it is so helped by antioxidants, and our gut is fed so well by plant matter. And just think about what the effect would be if you got this variety and this consistency into your body or your child's body or both every single day, every week, every month, every year, year over year, the compounding impact that that could have on your health. And you're going to hear some pretty amazing stories of what it's done in just a minute. So there are 3 things that make Juice Plus incredibly unique. And the first is my favorite. This is just food, okay? So it really will feed your gut because it's just food. I don't think you can see this, but it has a nutrition label, not a vitamin or a supplement label. You cannot overdose on this. There's no warning label. When my kids are 6 months old, I open the capsules and put it in their food, because if you can eat food, you can eat Juice Plus. If you can eat a salad, you can eat Juice Plus. That makes sense. So it's full of that phytonutrition and everything that's present in the fruits and vegetables that make it so powerful in our body, not isolated synthetic ingredients. It's non-GMO, dairy-free, and gluten-free. It's NSF certified. NSF is a third party that validates that what we say is in our product is and nothing more. It's the highest level of certification you can receive. We've had it for over 20 years. But the reason why I love NSF is because they ensure that these powders are free of any herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, yeast, mold, bacteria, and heavy metals. And do you remember when I was talking about brain health and how certain substances from our food could get into our brain and cause damage? That's why it's really important that you have somebody double checking that what you're taking is incredibly clean. And that's what we have with our NSF certification. And then finally, when Juice Plus hit the market 25 years ago, people started having unique experiences. So they decided they wanted to see, what is this doing on human beings with blood drawn? And we are the most researched nutritional product in the world now. We actually have 38 published studies. This says 30, but we have 38. We have 9 underway. We've been researched at MD Anderson Cancer Center, Brigham Young, Yale, Vanderbilt. These are some of the most prestigious facilities here in the States and abroad. This is not done in a random Juice Plus lab, and they are published in some of the most prestigious journals. So our core products are our fruit, vegetable, and berry capsules, but we also have these amazing Juice Plus complete shakes. So when we were talking about, food that will feed our good guys, that's where this comes in, because this will actually fill your belly. This could be a meal or a snack. And they're delicious. They come in chocolate and vanilla. They're low glycemic, so they stabilize your blood sugar. We were talking about, our sugar levels being really important for brain health. They're vegan and non-GMO, gluten and dairy-free. They're full of plants and powerful prebiotic fibers. Remember, it's those prebiotics that feed our good guys, and oligosaccharides. And oligosaccharides help to heal the lining of your gut. And that's really important at a time when many people are dealing with leaky gut. And then finally, we're not going to talk about this as much as I'd love to tonight just because of the essence of time, but we also have this amazing Juice Plus Omega blend. It's been out for a year and a half. Our company realized that many of us are deficient in high quality omega oils, and we know that it supports the heart, joint, skin, eyes, but especially it supports our brain. Our brain is mostly fat, and this is a good quality fat that you can get into your body. Many people are bridging the gap with a fish oil, but there are some problems with that. Number one, our fish are also not incredibly clean. They have some toxicity with them. And number two, it's not sustainable. It takes 3 to 4 pounds of fish to make 1 ounce of fish oil. But what's amazing is the fish actually get their omegas from the algae. So we just went straight to the algae. We decided to make it a full spectrum omega 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9, all from plants. And it is the only omega supplement that has cold press technology in order to be encapsulated. So I don't have time to tell my story tonight, but I will tell you there are many, many people that have seen wonderful changes since adding in these omegas, especially in regards to anxiety. So at this point, I'm just going to close this part out with a quote from Dr. Richard Dubois. He was head of infectious disease in Atlanta, Georgia. He's been named America's top doc. What a lot of people say when they really learn about what Juice Plus is they wonder, why isn't this everywhere already? Or why didn't my doctor tell me about it? Well, the truth is that there are doctors that are telling people about it, but even though we're 25 years old, which is pretty amazing in this space, we're still a grassroots movement, okay? So there are doctors that know about it. I don't know if yours does yet. If not, you should tell them. But Dr. Richard Dubois said, there is nothing available anywhere else in the world with or without a prescription that has been clinically proven to do what Juice Plus does. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and ask Trisha to unmute herself and just tell us, please, her story about the effect that Juice Plus had on her family. So take it away.
Hey guys, all right, thanks Julie. So like Julie said, my name is Trisha, and I am a wife, a mom to 2 girls. My oldest is getting ready to turn 18 next week, and my youngest is 14. And I am a nurse, and I'm not going to share my actual health journey tonight, but I'm going to share my daughter's. To kind of back up with how we got to where we are today, tell you a little bit about her. She, my oldest one, we're going to be talking about, I think the time she was born has been irritable and anxious from the time I had her, just very colicky baby. And as she got older, I just started noticing she's just really sensitive to everything, tags, socks, anything that was on her would bother her, sounds. So just very sensitive overload. And then as we got into kindergarten, I really saw the anxiety hit. She wasn't a normal child that I can just drop off and she walked into school. She was very anxious. She cried, and I'm not lying, every single day, every day that I had to take her in, to where it was getting really, really hard on me. It was getting really hard on her. She was so worked up and anxious that she wouldn't even eat. So then she wasn't eating before she even went to school. It got so bad that I could not even get her out of the house. She would kick, scream, put her feet up on the car, do everything to not have to get into that car and go to school. If I got her in the car, I had to do that all over again to get her into the school. It was every single day we went through this. So you can probably feel the strain, see the strain that it would put on me, the family, her, anxiety, just, it took over her life. I don't have that myself, so I can't tell you what that feels like. Maybe you do. But from seeing her deal with this, you don't have the control. And because I would always ask her, why are you so anxious? What can I do? And, why? And she's like, I don't know why. She can never tell me an answer of why she felt the way she did. But with that anxiety, it was interfering with just being a kid. She couldn't really go to friends' houses. She couldn't hold sports. She was a beautiful gymnast and had to quit because the anxiety just held her back. There was just so many things she could not be a kid with, that it was then interfering at school. All she was worried about was getting with me because I made her more comfortable. So she was falling really behind in school, and it turned into a learning disability. It was getting to the point that finally the second therapist had said, if we didn't do something, unfortunately, the older she got, it would turn into things that she would do to herself to make her feel better. And I'm sure a lot of us kind of know what that might have been. And that was really scary to me. So being a nurse, I didn't want to do medications, but at this point, I did not know what to do for her anymore. So we started medications at the age of 8, around 8 or 9. She was on Paxil, and then they tried telling me she had ADD too because she was losing focus. I don't know if it was ADD or if it was also just anxiety playing in and she couldn't focus at school. I don't know, but we had her on medications for that too. And I can tell you, I don't think I saw a huge difference. She still struggled. We still fought to get into school, maybe not as much, but we still had issues, and it took a toll, I think, on my health. So that's kind of why then with my health, we started looking into other things like nutrition, because we'd done the medications and they weren't working. So we took a look at some nutrition because I wasn't quite sure what I was dealing with being a nurse, just dealing with medications. But Juice Plus came into our life at the perfect time. I needed something simple and easy because she was a very picky eater. And I knew she wasn't getting all the food she needed to anyway, but I needed something that was simple that I didn't have to worry about and fight with her. So you guys, all we did was put these little bitty capsules, well, at the time chewables, into her body, and it did the work. I didn't do anything in the beginning. I just gave those to her. She subtly started to see some changes in her behavior, in the way she was even wanting to eat. And fast forward, within a year, I really saw those changes in her behavior, and we were able to back off on her medications. But that took time. Like I said, we did a lot of things in between, because once you put good things in, she was eating healthier things. So put good things in that feeds the gut, like Julie talked about. Her happy hormones, serotonin, were being made, and she started to eat better. And that's how we gradually started seeing things. And you guys, I worked with her hard every night with school because she was so behind. She was a DC student. And by 8th grade, I had a teacher say, I don't know what you're doing, but I've never seen a kid turn around like the way she has. So she just graduated. We just had a graduation. And it was an emotional time for me because, to be honest, I never thought we would be there. Never could see her graduating. And she graduated in National Honor Art Society. She was an AV student. I never had to help her. And she just got an academic scholarship to Lindenwood. And so, you guys, I mean, I can't make it up. And like I said, all we did was one little thing at a time, and she did it. And now she has control, and she loves who she is. She loves school, and now she is ready to go out there and actually help other kids now like she is. So just been so blessed for what Juice Plus has done for our life. I'm just excited. And I one really quick thing I don't want to go over, but I have to tell you, as a nurse, you guys, I am seeing so much of this and anxiety and all these kids on medications, and they are Band-Aids. These kids are on, like I have someone right now, they're on like 5 different medications for anxiety, depression, and they still have all the issues. So obviously there's some disconnect there, and Band-Aids or medications are not the fix. So, well, thank you, Julie, so much for letting me share.
Oh, thank you for sharing your story. Ellie's story is amazing, and I know there's more to that. She could not give it all tonight. So if you really are curious, I know she could have something recorded that she could share with more people, because it's an amazing story. So Jody, take it away and let us hear your story, please.
Hi, thank you. I'm so glad to share with you guys tonight and my background. I grew up as a competitive gymnast, competing at a college level. I studied nutrition undergrad and started practicing as a physician assistant in 2003. I started in orthopedics, but life with kids took me in a different direction, and I now currently work at a health center at Lafayette College. When I was having difficulty getting pregnant, I started to see a specialist and was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is an underactive thyroid disorder. I was started on a replacement medication called levothyroxine. I was able to have 2 healthy babies, but afterwards thought many of my symptoms were just due to being a mom of 2. They were only 20 months apart. I was fatigued. I had cold intolerance. My nails were brittle. My hair was falling out. I was constipated. And the biggest symptoms that bothered me the most were feeling like I was in a brain fog and being very anxious. So I would ask my doctors, hey, can you check my levels? They've got to be off. I probably need an adjustment in my medication. Every single time, my thyroid stimulating hormone, normal range. They said, well, we could always put you on some anxiety medication. And with other medications come more side effects. And I really didn't want to go that route. I was also getting chronic sinus infections. I was on 3 to 4 antibiotics a year. And someone on this call, Nikki, introduced me to Juice Plus. With my nutrition background and my medical knowledge, it absolutely made sense. I started on the trio of capsules. I then started blending in the omegas, and I do our Shred 10 program every month, which eliminates the inflammatory foods and drinks that are making autoimmune disorders worse. As time went on, I was no longer asking my physician to check my thyroid levels. The anxiety improved. I had more focus. I had more energy, less cold intolerance, improved hair, skin, nails. I was not taking the near amount of antibiotics that I had, and I haven't been on one in the last 2 years. So seeing these changes in myself had led to me wanting to make changes in my practice with my patients. From the treatment of, let's talk medication first, to more, let's talk about prevention and the emphasis and the importance of fruits, vegetables, and berries. And they can get them in capsules and gummies to add to what they're already taking. Many of eating, in college, I see they're eating away from home. They're not having the best diet like they once did. Many of the students I see, they're collegiate athletes as well. So they're needing the extra servings of fruits and vegetables even more. As Julia talked about, that oxidative stress and the free radicals. By giving those antioxidants, you're having a quicker recovery. I have a swimmer that she started on him this year. She was going to need a tonsillectomy because she's had 3+ strep infections. And I just talked to her, and she talked to her mom, and she started on it. And so now she has not needed a tonsillectomy. She said, this was my best season of recovery after workouts, competitions. And so, you know, I will not just only continue to take Juice Plus for myself, but I give it to my kids. I recommend it to my family, my friends, and I'll continue to recommend it to my patients. And since, you know, just a quick bit on mental health, since it, you know, is the awareness of this topic. I started at the college probably 7 years ago. And from the time that I started to now, they started with 3 counselors at the college. They are now up to 5 counselors with a psychiatrist to prescribe medications. So there has been this big jump in mental health, anxiety, depression, the amount of medications that they are taking. So if I can just even help those kids in my small community decrease that anxiety, improve their health, and find better ways to, you know, go, you know, make better choices. And, you know, maybe they won't need that medication. They will overcome their anxiety. So thank you for letting me share. And I would love to pass it on to Nikki, who actually got me started.
Okay, well, thank you. Oh my gosh, I love hearing all these amazing health transformations and how good food can really just fill that gap of the disconnect from our bellies to our brains. And so now I'm going to talk a little bit about how stress can affect our digestion, and then also, you know, just your mental state, all around. And then we're going to finish with a short little meditation, and I'm going to give you a couple of tips and tricks that you can use throughout your day that can really reduce your stress pretty quickly. So I'm sure that most of you guys have all heard about the fight or flight mechanism that is really controlled by your sympathetic nervous system. And when you're in fight or flight, your body feels like it's threatened. So this is where you see moms who have like this superhuman strength and they're able to lift cars up over their trapped kiddos. And so, you know, that's a great thing to have when you're under a stress, you know, at a short period of time. But on the other side, you have your parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes your rest and digest. And that's where you want to be most of the time. That's where your body feels safe. And so, you know, a little bit about what's happening in the body when you're experiencing stress. I mean, we all experience it. It's normal. It's just not a good thing to stay there for a very long time. You want to be able to get yourself back into that rest and digest state. But basically what happens is your body is releasing a hormone called cortisol. And this is just getting pumped through your body when you're in that fight or flight sort of state. Cortisol then is going to release glucose because it's going to need sugar to go to all these super large muscles so that you can run away from that bear or lift up that car because your body thinks that it's in danger and it needs to move quickly. But it's also stopping the production of insulin. Another thing that's happening is it's shutting down your digestion completely. Like if you need to run from a bear, your body is not going to think about that huge dinner or that huge breakfast that you just ate. Like it's going to need to get out of there quickly. So you can see how, you know, this is going to start to, you know, cause issues. You know, if you're under super high stress, you're not going to be digesting your food. You're going to start experiencing things like maybe acid reflux, maybe constipation, like things are just going to be moving through you a lot slower. So why are we so stressed out, right? Unfortunately, you know, today's modern life, you know, is super fast paced. We are just sort of stacking stressor after stressor on top of each other throughout the day. You know, you can even think about your day today. How many people wake up to an alarm? I mean, maybe some of you have an alarm clock. Maybe some of you wake up on your own. Well, you wake up to your alarm, which is alarming, right? And then maybe you have to go wake up your kids and you walk down the hall and you trip over somebody's shoes that they left it out. And so then like your heart starts pumping because you've got to catch yourself before you fall. And then you go and you wake up your kids and maybe they're not excited about getting up for school. And then you go downstairs to make breakfast and you see that the dog threw up overnight. And so it's like sitting there waiting for you. And now you're late getting everybody to school and you're like rushing through traffic and somebody cuts you off. And then you finally get to your job and it's like 9 o'clock and you're like, oh my gosh, like how much stress have I experienced already, you know, and I haven't even started my day. And that's not even going to, you know, count what happens, you know, while you're at your work or whatever else happens. So that's what our world is like. You know, we're just living in constant stress. And so a lot of times when you see people that have super stressful jobs or just super stressful lives, they usually have some type of anxiety, some type of depression, but they also have some sort of digestive like issue. They probably have IBS symptoms. They might have, like I said, acid reflux, maybe Crohn's, constipation issues. You know, they all kind of go together. So what do we do to get out of that fight or flight situation, right? Well, there's a couple things that I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to lead you through a short little meditation, and you can do this while you're at home. If you're watching the recording, you can save it and do a little bit later. But the best position to kind of get into meditation is just sitting on the floor, and you want to be up on like a pillow or a cushion so that your knees are slightly below your hips. And that's just going to promote like really great circulation so that you're not having any feet that are falling asleep, and it just kind of puts your body in a good state to receive the meditation. Also, you can lay down on your back with your knees bent. You're going to put your feet out a little bit wider than your hips and then let your knees fall together. And this is going to relax your psoas muscle. And this muscle is super important with stress because it's directly connected to your brain. And it will massage that psoas and relax it. And it signals to your brain that everything is okay. I'm safe. I don't have anything to worry about. So this is a great thing to do for your kiddos too. If you have kids that are like throwing a tantrum or they need some sort of a timeout, I'll make mine go lay down on the floor, put their legs up the wall. And it does it every time. They don't really know why it's working and they don't have to, but it calms them down super, super quickly, and it's really easy. So I'm going to let you guys get into one of those positions that I was just talking about. And then just go ahead and close your eyes, and you're going to start taking some really big, deep breaths into your lower belly. And really on your inhales, you want to stick your belly out like as far as you can. That's also going to massage that psoas muscle that I was talking about, which is telling your body, I'm safe and I'm okay. You know, us as women, we have so much belly shame, and we're always trying to like pull our bellies in because we don't want anybody seeing that. And that's not very relaxing, right? When you're trying to hold your belly in all the time. So feel free to just like push it out as far as you can. And then on your exhales, just like sort of let it soften. So really big inhale through your low belly, and then just let it soften. And go ahead and have your eyes closed and start to picture this really beautiful meadow. And there's an opening in the trees above the meadow where the sunshine is just shining down on this spot. And right there in the middle of the sunshine is a park bench. And you're going to walk over to the park bench, and you're going to sit down there. And you're going to start to feel the sunshine, the warmth of the sunshine on your skin. You're going to start to hear the sounds of the birds around you. You're going to start to smell the fragrance of all the amazing flowers that are surrounding you. And now you're just going to start filling up your heart with so much gratitude for this special place that was created just for you. Whenever life gets crazy or hectic, you can always come right back here to relax and remember this calm feeling that you have right now. And so now we're going to take 2 really big deep breaths. We're going to inhale through our nose and then a big exhale out through your mouth. And then the second one, you're going to inhale through your nose, exhale softly through your nose just for yourself. So we can all do that together. Inhale. Exhale through your mouth. One more time, inhale. Exhale slowly through your nose, just for yourself. And that is your intro to meditation. If you guys have never ever done one before, they definitely can be longer. I use a couple of apps for meditation if you want to do some more and get some guided ones. Headspace is a really great one. Also, Insight Timer is one I use a lot. You can pick anywhere from like 3 to 5 minutes to an hour, just depending on what you need. But it's just a really great way to get you into better mental state, and then also to help your digestion. So I'm going to turn it back to Julie and let her close it out for us.
Thank you so much, Nikki. I loved all that info. Well, we just really want to tell you thank you for taking some time to tune in live or to watch this on the recording. Maybe you're feeling like you're just ready to fuel your body with some more foods that can feed your good guys. And if that's where you're at, we totally support you in just getting more plant matter into your diet every day. Maybe you're curious about Juice Plus, and if so, it is the most affordable and the simplest way we know to get a massive amount of nutrition into busy families. So please get with the person who invited you. We also have an amazing program where any adult who takes Juice Plus can sponsor any child for free, age 4 through 18, or a full-time college undergrad. So make sure you ask them about that. And then finally, if you thought of somebody while hearing these stories or learning this information, please let the person know who invited you. We record these calls. We are easily able to share this awesome information with anybody who you believe could benefit, because that really is our mission, is to inspire healthy living around the world and to share this amazing solution with as many people as we can. So thank you so much.